Presented by the 2015 Honda Civic. Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Welcome to Rogers Center, and that is not a mirage you're seeing. That is actual ice here at Rogers Center. It is winter in July, and they couldn't have picked a better day for it. It's 28 degrees, and it feels like 36, and it promises to heat up to 32 degrees before this game is over. This is the rubber match between the Tampa Bay Rays and the Blue Jays. They have flip-flopped games in the first two games of this series. The Blue Jays won 6-2 on Friday night. The Rays returned the favor, winning 3-2 yesterday afternoon. Let's take a look at the lineup for Kevin Cash's Tampa Bay Rays. John Jaso is the DH. He's top of the order. Then way down in the seventh spot, Tim Beckham is the shortstop, and he's had a good year against the Blue Jays, including a double in yesterday's game. He is 4 for 7. 4 extra base hits and 7 RBIs, and then the catcher. How about Rene Rivera in his last 7 games? He's got 8 hits and 22 at-bats with a homer and 7 RBIs, and they are all set to face Marco Estrada, who was great the last time he pitched against Tampa Bay.
Yeah, he certainly was. This is Marco's 14th start of the season for the Blue Jays. Last time out, he lost to Kansas City, but pitched very well, pitched into the 7th inning. Fortunately, he was going through that slump where the hitters, the pitching during that stretch during the Jays went 27 consecutive innings without scoring. He only gave up 2 earned runs against Kansas City, had 14 fly ball outs, something to watch this afternoon.
Estrada misses with the first pitch to John Jaso. Jaso's the DH. He's 3 for 8 in this series with a double and an RBI. Changeup misses inside. It's 2-0. Jaso missed 83 games. He had a wrist contusion and has just returned to the Rays active roster. This is just his 11th game of the season. Fouls back that fastball.
Just 30 at-bats for John Jaso, but a very high on-base percentage. Not a stolen base type of guy. He's not your typical leadoff hitter, but he can get on base, and that's what they're looking for.
2 balls and a strike. Blue Jays utilizing a shift on the infield, and there's a fly ball hit into the air. Bautista's in right, dealing with the sun, uses his glove to shade his eyes and makes the catch. The Blue Jays defensively for the season have committed 55 errors. In the outfield, it's Colabello, Pilar, and Bautista from left to right. Josh Donaldson has played very well lately. He's committed 10 errors on the season. Jose Reyes at short, Travis at second, Smokes back at first, and Deanna Navarro makes his 15th start behind the plate, catching Marco Estrada.
Talked about all the fly ball outs that Marco Estrada had last time, so the center fielder, I think Kevin Pilar is going to be important this afternoon.
Brady Sizemore hits one off the end of the bat. Bautista again. This time no problems with the sun. 2 down.
You know, we saw Kevin Pilar yesterday with his 9th outfield assist that ties for 3rd in the American League. He's been playing some great defense. 15 defensive run saves. That's 2nd in Major League Baseball. He's played outstanding defense. And again, with Marco Estrada on the mound, you're going to see a lot of fly balls.
Pilar threw out Tim Beckham at home plate to end the 5th inning in yesterday's game. 2 quick outs for Estrada. This is Evan Longoria. He's had just 1 hit in the series. Makes the first pitch from Estrada in there for a strike. Longoria is the face of the Rays organization. Once again having another good season, batting .272 with 9 homers. And he just can't solve that changeup. He is 0 for 5 against Marco Estrada.
Marco's got those 3 pitches that he can get over at any time. Good curveball. He's been working on a cutter at times, but his bread and butter pitch is that great changeup.
Breaking ball in the dirt. Navarro smothers it very easily.
You mentioned Longoria as the face of the franchise. He was voted one of those franchise 4 that we saw at the All-Star break. I think without a doubt he should be number 1, and David Price should be number 2.
Longoria, Price, Shields, and Zobrist, the franchise 4 for Tampa Bay. That has led to some controversy in the Tampa Bay area. A lot of folks believe Carl Crawford should have been one of the 4. And I agree with him. I think Carl Crawford, 9 years with the Rays, a 4-time All-Star. Gold Glover and the Silver Slugger.
And still has a lot of the offensive categories. He's the leader in those categories. Then it becomes, who do you take off?
With all due respect, Ben Zobrist is the guy I take off. He's been a great player for Tampa Bay, but I don't think he's in the same class as Carl Crawford. But then again, they didn't ask me. 2-2, 2 down. We're in the first inning. Estrada with good first inning under his belt. Evan Longoria strikes out. He's now 0 for 6 against Marco Estrada. And they are really struggling to get things turned around before they head out onto this next road trip to Oakland and Seattle. Take a look at the lineup for John Gibbons Blue Jays. Right at the top of the order, Jose Reyes. And look at his numbers against Chris Archer. He's 9 for 25. That's a 360 average, and he is always important for the Blue Jays to score runs. He needs to get on base. And how about the bottom of the lineup? Devin Travis has a 7-game hit streak. He's 11 for 26 during that hit streak, with 3 doubles and a pair of RBIs, and he turns the lineup over, which might play very well into Reyes' hot hand against Archer.
Because it's going to be tough. You're facing one of the best pitchers in the American League. Chris Archer's already faced the Blue Jays 3 times this season. He's only allowed 7 hits and 4 walks in those 3 starts. He's seeking to his 4th win versus Toronto this year, which would tie a club record by Ray for most wins in a season versus any opponent. The other ones were Paul Wilson versus Baltimore in 2002, and David Price did it against the Blue Jays in 2010.
Archer made his first All-Star team. Reyes hits it hard, but this time it's right to Logan Forsythe. 1 up, 1 down for Archer. Well, defensively, the Tampa Bay Rays are always near the top of the league in catching it. They have committed just 47 errors. David DeJesus back in left field this afternoon. Kevin Kiermaier has 8 outfield assists, and Grady Sizemore is in right. Longoria and Beckham on the left side, Forsythe and Looney on the right side, and Rene Rivera has committed 8 errors behind the plate. For Rivera, this is his 66th start.
The outfield has been great. Their outfielders have only made a major league low 4 errors, led by this guy in center field. That's Kevin Kiermaier. As that ball is fouled out. Kiermaier ranks #1 in the major leagues in defensive run saves. You know, we talked about Pilar was second with 15. Well, Kiermaier has 20 for his own rating of 14.4. He's only committed 1 error in his last 246 total chances. This is a very good defensive outfield for Tampa Bay.
Kiermaier checking on the sun. He's got those sunglasses down. Josh Donaldson fouled off the first pitch. He shoots this one to right. Sizemore, a former Gold Glover, makes the play in right field. Grady Sizemore making just his 4th start in right field for Tampa Bay.
Former center fielder Grady Sizemore, when he first came up with the Cleveland Indians, could play some center field. Injuries have pushed him over to right field. Told you about this outfield. Their outfielders are 3 center fielders. David DeJesus, when he first came up, was a center fielder. Kiermaier, of course, and then Grady Sizemore over in right field was a center fielder. So lots of speed in the outfield.
Jose Bautista hammered his 18th homer of the season yesterday afternoon. Bautista's had a Very consistent first half as far as the power and RBIs go. Inside off the plate, ball and a strike to the right fielder.
You know, he has had his problems versus Chris Archer in the past, just a couple of base hits, and this should be a pitcher that Jose should hit well because he throws so hard.
Bautista's just 2 for 26. That's a 0.77 batting average. And the thing about Bautista is everybody pitches him tough because of his success. He's the best power hitter in baseball since 2010. So naturally, you're going to be careful to it.
And he loves the fastball, and he can turn around anybody's fastball. Chris Archer's got a good one.
Hard breaking ball in the dirt. It's a full count, 2 outs. The man on deck, Edwin Encarnacion, has more home runs against Archer than anybody in baseball. He's hit 3 against the big right-hander. He'll be next if Bautista can reach base.
I think this pitch will go a long way telling us how Chris Archer feels today. Does he challenge him?
Yes, he does. Longoria dives and slips. He lost his footing, and Bautista will reach with a 2-out base hit. Longoria got a glove on it, but then when he went to get up, he lost his footing and slipped.
Yeah, he had a shot to make that play. Inside fastball, watch the Gold Glover get to it. He's ready to come up and make a play, but then he just loses his footing and then thought better of it. As Chris Archer says, well, there goes the no-no right there.
A 2-out base hit. That will bring Edwin Encarnacion to the plate. Edwin 4 for 28 against Archer, but 3 of those hits have been homers. It'll be interesting to watch Archer and the pattern he utilizes against Encarnacion. We've seen it all season long, and this is the 13th game these two teams have played. With Bautista and Encarnacion especially, they really pitch him away.
Pitch him away. They've said, okay, if you want to beat me, you got to beat me away. There's a good slider right there. The thing about Archer and pitching away, he's got the great fastball that he'll keep away, but he's got one of the best sliders in all of baseball also. Talked to some of the hitters, and I asked them what's so tough about Archer. He said that slider looks like a fastball halfway to home plate with some sizzle on it. And all of a sudden it just disappears when you start to swing at it.
Archer, in his last start before the All-Star break, gave up a career-high 9 earned runs to the Kansas City Royals. He also allowed 12 hits, which tied his career high. Kansas City knocked him around. Breaking ball again outside. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Archer is with his 3rd organization, which might surprise you thinking this young talented pitcher, why has he moved around so much? But he's always been coveted. Another pitch outside. That'll run the count to 3-2.
He hasn't found that release point right now of that slider. He's missing badly against the right-handed batters here in the first inning.
Johnny Navarro waits on deck.
You know, just like Bautista, the hitter before him, this pitch here will tell you what kind of day it might be for him. Will he challenge Encarnacion, or will he throw him another breaking ball?
He challenged Bautista. There goes the runner. There's a ball driven in the air to right center. Kiermaier, with terrific speed, makes an easy play of it, and Chris Archer pitches around. A 2-out infield base hit. We're scoreless after 1.
Presented by the 2015 Honda Civic, Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
That is not your imagination. It is winter in July here at Rogers Center, and they have put up a little bit of an ice rink out in center field in the WestJet flight deck. Fans are coming in, and they're getting a pair of mittens, and how about a Toronto Blue Jays bobsled? Now, there's something we could do, Pat. I'll drive it. You can be the brake man, and we'll try that out.
I thought you were going to say, let's do a game from inside.
No, no. Let's go out there to Calgary and go down that bobsled run.
That would be pretty cool. I would dig that.
Yeah, that would be good. We'll get Scott Carson to push us, and we'll be in good shape.
What a team.
As the first pitch changeup, that is fouled back by James Loney. Loney's had a rough series. He's 0 for 7 against the Jays.
I think you have to throw off-speed pitches to James Loney this season. They track everything stats-wise. He's only hitting .203 versus off-speed pitches this year. So you got to throw him a lot of off-speed stuff, and there's another one right there.
I think that has a lot to do with all of the missed time. When you face a pitcher like Estrada, he's going to give you a steady diet of those changeups and breaking balls, but Loney has been out a lot, and that will really create problems for your timing.
Yeah, 2 stints on the disabled list. A total of 51 games missed already this season for James.
He has just 152 at bats, and I think that's the issue with the off-speed pitches. You can see his last 6 games, it's been a struggle. Loney, the veteran, now 31 years old. Began his career with the Dodgers. He was a first-round pick of LA in 2002. Been a good player for a long time.
You know, that's what I hate about baseball sometimes when they say, well, first base is a position that has to be powerful. You got to hit a lot of home runs. I would take this guy all the time to be my first baseman. He's a great fielder. He makes contact. He hits line drives. He'll drive in his share of runs. He just won't do it via the home run.
Yeah, he's never had a big home run season. In his second year, actually his first full season with the Dodgers, he had 15. That's the highest home run total in a single season for Loney.
That's an unfair knock against him early in his career.
He's a career .285 hitter, and when you factor that in with his great glove at first base, I think most people will take that type of player at first base.
Yeah, he'll drive in a share of runs, like I said, and hit the ball all over the ballpark. He'll hit line drives. Last year, he had the second highest line drive percentage in all of baseball behind Freddie Freeman. I think I can take that.
Now, he's not prone to strike out, that's for sure. He will put the ball in play. Most strikeouts he's ever had was 95 strikeouts in a single season. I think you're going to see more and more players put emphasis on putting the ball in play. Pitching has become so dominant, they're going to try to cut down the strikeout numbers. Change up, he fouls it out of play.
Well, you want good hitters when you're facing really good pitching. And you can always separate hitters. Well, do they hit the good pitchers? Or do they just beat up on all the mediocre pitchers? And I think James Loney's one of those guys that hits good pitching.
Base hit. What an at bat for Loney. Fouled off some good pitches and then singles to center to start to second. Loney's first hit of the series.
You know, and that was a fastball right there from Estrada. A lot of changeups down and away, and he kept the at bat alive. You can see they tried to keep the ball away. A lot of off-speed pitches, something away, and then that last pitch, fastball that was up, sent it right back through the middle.
That's really interesting. We talk about Loney not having much power, but they pitched him away. In my mind, they pitched right into his strength. Leadoff single here in the second. This is Logan Forsythe. He's had a good series, 3 for 6 in this series with a double and an RBI. Forsythe broke up the perfect game bid with a little chopper to third base. The first hit against Marco Estrada in that start down at Tampa Bay. That hit came with 1 out in the 8th inning and broke up the perfect game.
Boy, that was unfortunate, wasn't it? Marco was dealing that day. And it was a ball that was just tapped down the third base line that he beat it out, an obvious base hit.
Estrada would later on give up a 2-out double to Kevin Kiermaier in the 9th, and that was the last batter he faced in that game. So he gave up just 2 hits in 8 2/3. The Forsythe base hit came after Josh Donaldson made that terrific diving catch into the seats to keep the perfect game intact. He made that play very reminiscent of Derek Jeter diving into the seats at Yankee Stadium.
Face first, didn't he? Right into the stands. Well, you talked about it, Buck. Here it is, right here. Estrada was dealing, had a great breaking ball that day and a great changeup. Ball just tapped down the third base line. And you see Donaldson did everything he could to keep it going, but Forsythe beat it out. Marco Estrada would go get a no decision in that game.
Blue Jays would win that one 1-0 in 12 innings. Forsythe pops this one up. Little looper over near the seats. Smoke battling the sun, and it's 2 rows back out of play. Chris Colabello ended up hitting a home run off Brandon Gomes in the 12th to win that game 1-0. It's one of the best games we've seen this season. Yeah. Nathan Carnes was the starter against Estrada that day. David DeJesus, he's on deck. There goes Loney. He started the runner on the 3-2 count. Kevin Pillar plays it off to the side to get it out of the sun. 1 down.
Take a look at the scouting report for Marco Estrada. What he features: fastball, he throws it about 90 miles an hour, but when he combines it with that changeup, there's about 10 miles per hour difference in that the miles per hour between the fastball and the changeup, and I think that makes that devastating. That changeup makes his fastball that much better. His curveball, he's throwing it just a little bit more. And the cutter he has introduced this year, he's now up to 8% of the time he's going to use that cutter. That changeup, again, he'll use it at any time, and batters are only hitting 194 off that changeup this season.
This is David DeJesus. He's back in left field. He did not play in yesterday's game against R.A. Dickey. He's 0 for 3 in the series with the walk. Veterans having another solid season. He's played in 75 games to this point. Ball on the strike to the Rays left fielder. The Blue Jays just haven't been able to get their bats going against Tampa Bay all season long. Tampa Bay has an 8-4 advantage over the Blue Jays this season. It's a foul ball past Rocco Baldelli down the right field line.
And that might make the pitching for the Blue Jays put a little bit of extra pressure on the pitchers, and they've responded this year. I thought the pitchers so far against Tampa Bay this season, they have pitched extremely well. You mentioned the game that Marco had down in Tampa against this team. I thought R.A. Dickey pitched well enough to win in yesterday's game. We've seen Mark Burley chew up Tampa so far this year. They just have not been able to beat them.
Blue Jays as a team are hitting 198 against the Rays this season. Once again, good pitching will shut down good hitting. 2 balls and 2 strikes. We're in the top of the 2nd inning. Another foul back out of play. We mentioned the season series, Tampa Bay with the advantage. But you look at how they got to those numbers. Tampa Bay has 8 wins. They've pitched better than the Blue Jays. They've hit better. They've actually scored more runs than the Jays.
Everything is about the same except that average right there in the earned run average. They just have a way of winning those games, especially the close games. Like yesterday, Blue Jays had the lead, lost it late in the ball game, and then the defense in the bullpen shut him down.
Umpire called ball 4. David De Jesus knew it was ball 3, but said, hey, if you're going to give me a free pass, I'll take it.
Yeah, you could hear a home plate umpire, Ben May, say ball 4. But the scoreboard said there was only 2 at the time. Let's listen.
Distinctly said ball 4, and Navarro says, wait a minute. That's ball 3, and then May corrects himself, and David De Jesus sheepishly comes back to home. Tried to pull a fast one.
Yeah, well, hey, if you're going to give me ball 4, I'm going to take it.
There goes the runner again, swinging a miss. Navarro from his knees throws out Loney very easily. So what a turnaround. They went from ball 4 to a strike him out, throw him out. Marco Estrada is through the first 2 innings. Navarro with a strong throw from his knees right on the money. Loney starts on the 3-2 pitch. De Jesus strikes out. Navarro guns down Loney at second. And he came up to stay in 2013 with the Rays. He had a good strikeout per 9 ratio that season, but it's getting better and better.
Look at that. Each season it keeps climbing a little bit higher for Chris Archer, and I think that's the development of the slider. He's starting to throw it over the plate a little bit more consistently with the combination of his great fastball. Last season, his pitch usage, 28.9% sliders. This year, 40.8% sliders. So 12% more sliders this year, and I think that's why you're seeing more strikeouts.
Indiana Navarro with a good cut on that first pitch fastball. Like Jose Reyes, top of the order, Navarro has hit well against Chris Archer. 6 for 18, a .333 average. And 2 home runs against Archer. Archer, for his career, has allowed the Blue Jays just 5 home runs. Encarnacion and Navarro have all 5.
And there are the numbers in 12 starts, 5-1, 2.5 earned run average. He has just been tough on the Blue Jays. 7 hits and 4 walks. That's all he's given the Blue Jays coming into this start. This is his 4th start this season versus Toronto. So not a lot of base runners.
Line to the second baseman, Logan Forsythe. Hit it hard, but right at second.
Well, let's take a look at the scouting report for young Chris Archer starting this afternoon for Tampa Bay. Note the fastball and the slider combination. The fastball, about 95 miles per hour. How about the slider at about 88% or 88 miles per hour? He throws it 41% of the time. That slider is as fast as some people's fastball. At 88 miles per hour, he's mixing in the changeup a little bit more this season also. But it's a crazy combination, that fastball and that wicked slider.
For his career, Archer's 29 and 25. This is his 79th career start. Justin Smoke with a ball and a strike. Smoke has a home run against Archer. That came as a member of the Seattle Mariners. Upstairs, they wanted that fastball up, and it missed too high.
That's how they've pitched him this whole series. Change-ups and high fastballs. First pitch to him in this sequence was a change-up and then a couple of fastballs.
Boy, he had a good rip at that slider just on the outside corner.
89 miles an hour.
Archer is now 26 years old. He'll turn 27 at the end of September. Breaking ball, broke his bat. Forsythe throws out Smoke, 2 down. This is the 4th start Chris Archer has made against the Blue Jays, and boy, has he been dominant, Pat.
Yeah, look at the earned run average, microscopic. The opponent's batting average, 0.97. He's thrown 22 innings. He's given up 13 base runners. That's it. 13 base runners. He's also had 25 strikeouts coming into this afternoon's game.
He's made 4 consecutive starts against the Blue Jays of 7+ innings, 3 hits or fewer, and 1 earned run or fewer. 4 straight starts. He's been dominant going back to last September against the Blue Jays. No pitcher has ever made 5 such starts against one team. There's a fastball to Colabello. It's 0-2.
It's only been done 4 times in the history of baseball,
where one pitcher has dominated a team over 4 consecutive starts. The other 4 names are very recognizable. 0-2, 2 outs. And we'll tell you those names when we come back as Colabello strikes out. That's the first strikeout for Chris Archer. We've played 2 innings. Archer using that good fastball upstairs to strike out Colabello.
Today is snow day at the ballpark, and when you come in from the snow, you got to wipe your boots off on a mat. So join us August 2nd. Blue Jays host the Royals at 107. It is part of our long weekend in the city. The first 20,000 fans will receive a Blue Jays welcome mat. Go to BlueJays.com for tickets. You see the little tie in there, Buck? You get the snow today and then the mat to put the boots on when you come in.
A forward-thinking group for sure. They include the mittens so you can go out and shovel snow, and then when you come back in, you can wipe your feet off on the doormat. That's pretty cool. We move to the 3rd inning. For the Rays, it'll be the bottom 3rd in the order. Beckham, Kiermaier, and Rivera. I asked Deanna Navarro what impressed him most about Marco Estrada, and Navarro's done a good job catching Estrada. He said, I like the way he can pitch to the corners of the plate. He can really spot his fastball, and it stays on plane. Explain what Navarro means by staying on plane.
Well, a lot of times pitchers will throw a fastball and you'll get the movement and it'll sink or it'll move off the line of the plate and actually become a ball. What he means about staying on plane, he can throw the ball and it can stay on that line. Roberto Osuno's the same way. There's a fastball that stays on line. So if you put the glove right here on the outside corner, he can carry that ball right to the mid. One of the things that Deanna's been doing since he started taking over the catching duties for Marco Estrada is he's used that fastball a little bit more, especially the high fastball.
Boy, there's that good changeup right in a good spot down and away. Since Estrada has thrown to Navarro, Estrada's ERA has dropped to 2.10. With Russell Martin catching him, his ERA is 4.11. Just a different chemistry between the two.
Yeah, he really enjoys playing catch with Navarro.
Boy, Tim Beckham lifts it down the left field line. That's going to be another extra base hit for Beckham. Tim Beckham, his second double of the series. He's had a good season against the Blue Jays.
Yeah, he had a very eventful day yesterday getting started shortstop. He had a double, he had a walk. He got picked off of first base, and then they reversed that call. He also scored a run and then was thrown out at the plate, and he starts Sunday afternoon with a double. Goes down and gets that one a half swing down the left field line for extra bases.
Beckham, for his career, came into this game with a .417 average against the Blue Jays. 10 hits in 24 at-bats. Now he's 11 for 25, a leadoff double. Kevin Kiermaier can bunt. Shows bunt, pulls the bat back.
You know, it's really interesting where Josh Donaldson is starting and how he's playing this. Now, Beckham can steal a base. He has to come in and he's got to keep his eye on Beckham. He's also got to keep an eye on Kiermaier. So he's turning and looking at both of them like a third base coach. And he slides in when he tries to bunt.
Donaldson gets it, and he will make the play to first. What a catch by Devin Travis. He literally laid across the base at first as he slid toward the first base bat and was able to reach back and make the catch on the throw from Donaldson.
Boy, that could have been really dangerous for the Blue Jays. It's a sacrifice bunt all the way for Kiermaier. Hard charging comes Josh Donaldson, and you can see he catches it on the second bounce. He's got plenty of time, but the throw pulls Travis off the bag, but he stays with it and records the out.
So with Beckham at third, he's got speed. Kiermaier moves him over to third with one out. Rene Rivera, the catcher. He has swung the bat well over his last 7 games. The Rays under Joe Madden, I mean, this really screams for that safety squeeze bunt. They were the best at it, and they would practice it repeatedly. I don't think they've done it as frequently so far under Kevin Cash in his first year.
Yeah, everything works out perfectly. You got a fast runner at third base and a weak hitter at the plate hitting 100. Rivera at 182. Even though the infield's in, if you execute it properly, you're going to score a run. All it is a safety squeeze where the batter will bunt, and once the runner sees the ball down on the ground, there's no way that first baseman can come in and make the play.
Two balls and a strike, and Estrada. And you can see Donaldson flashing some signs just to put the thought that maybe there's a pickoff play in the works. And he watches his position. He'll back up, and then he'll change his footwork. He'll move in and out. Foul back off the glove of Navarro.
Now, if you were playing what you say, that's pretty obvious. Like, that's a fake, but what you're saying is right.
Yeah.
You know, you put on those little fake signs like that just in case Tampa Bay is watching. He's doing it again. Trying to be indiscreet that time.
You know, it just doesn't make any difference, and it might be a simple pick of the jersey, that last little move that puts the pickoff play on. 2-2, one out. And Donaldson broke back toward the bag before Estrada delivered the pitch. All of these things can put a little hesitation into Tim Beckham's base running. And now he's messing with Charlie Montoya. The third base coach telling him, "You don't know what I'm going to do you?"
You can't do that. You can't bluff my guy back to third base like that.
Well, Beckham made a base running mistake in yesterday's game when Kevin Pillar threw him out. He was running from second base with 2 outs and turned to see where the center fielder was. And that proved costly as Pillar threw him out at the plate.
Yeah, that's where you just break on contact and just run as hard as you can. You're going to get sent by that third base coach no matter what with 2 outs.
Boy, there's a lot going on here with this number 9 hitter at the plate. Now Donaldson's going to come over and say something to Estrada. He's busy over there at third, isn't he? Jason, the leadoff man, is on deck. It's a scoreless game in the third. That ball is ripped, but it's going to hook foul and bounce out of play. You know, there's a lot going on in this situation, but the way these two teams have played each other, every game is close. Last time Estrada pitched, it was a 1-0 game that was decided in the 12th.
Hey, all you have to do is pick up the newspaper and see who's pitching today. Archer and Estrada, both of them have had success against each of these clubs, so runs could be at a premium this afternoon.
Another 3-2 pitch. Popped up, shallow left. Colabello coming in. Beckham's tagging at third, and he'll fake, and the ball will not be cut off. Somebody had to be the cutoff man there, and the Blue Jays got away with one. Navarro was able to make the play. There was no cutoff man. The throw wasn't that deep in left. Colabello gets it back in, and Beckham has to hold at third.
Throw way off the line that time from short left field. I think later in the game they try and score this run, but it's still early. You don't want to get thrown out. You can see how close he is. And the throw, there's no one there for the cutoff man.
I think Donaldson assumed, because it was such a shallow throw, that the throw would be a routine one-hopper to home plate. And then he saw the ball offline. It was an errant throw from the left fielder. And they were fortunate that Beckham has to stay put at third, but now there are 2 outs. Estrada continues to work out of the stretch. And finally got the message across to Navarro. He picked him off at third. What a heads-up play at third base. Josh Donaldson thinking, well, everybody's not worried about a pickoff. Now there are 2 outs. They're playing in the shift, a left-handed batter, and they're going to review this play at third.
Watch him take off. This is a set play right here. On the pitch, he takes off. Navarro with a good, strong throw, and it looked like Josh got that down there and got him easily. What a heads-up play by the Blue Jays.
No review. The play will stand. It remains a scoreless game as we head to the bottom of the third.
The Blue Jays pay special tribute to the Canadian Forces, and today we salute Major Mike Stoddard. Mike Stoddard has been in service on several international exercises as well as peacekeeping missions to the Golan Heights and most recently to Haiti to help the victims of the earthquake. Major Mike Stoddard, today's Sunday salute. Buck?
Congratulations to Major Mike Stoddard, and he is an athlete himself. He is in the Military Hall of Fame for his athletic pursuits. Congratulations to Major Stoddard. Kevin Pillar takes a first pitch strike to start the bottom of the third.
There's that nasty slider right there. We were talking last inning when Chris Archer was out there that he's trying to do something that has only happened 4 times in Major League Baseball.
Pitched 7 or more innings against one particular opponent for 4 consecutive starts, plus hold them to 3 or fewer hits and 1 earned run or fewer. He has done just that against the Blue Jays in his last 4 starts. Now, we mentioned too that there are also 4 other pitchers that have that type of stretch against a particular opponent. Clayton Kershaw of the Dodgers has done that against the San Diego Padres. Charlie Huff had a stretch like that against Oakland back in '87. Minnesota Twins' Jim Perry did it against Texas in '72. This is going to be a foul ball. And how about the great Sandy Koufax? In 1962 and 1963 against the New York Mets, Koufax had a similar stretch of 4 consecutive starts. 7 or more innings, 3 or fewer hits, and 1 earned run or fewer. That's dominating.
That is dominating an opponent for a long time.
To Hopper to Longoria. He throws it on the money. 1 down. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. He's got an update on this busy Sunday. Baltimore got a terrific effort from Chris Tillman yesterday. Gave up a leadoff single. That was the only hit he would allow. He'd pitch into the ninth. Zach Britton would wrap it up for the Orioles as they beat David Price and the Tigers 9-3. Baltimore snapped their 3-game losing streak. Detroit now has slipped to 45-45, 9.5 games back in the AL Central.
Adam Jones has now hit at least 15 homers in 7 consecutive seasons for Baltimore. 4th longest streak since they moved to Baltimore in 1954.
And Adam Jones and Chris Tillman, the starter yesterday, came in a trade from the Seattle Mariners. That was one of the most lopsided trades the Orioles have ever been able to pull off.
Well, I think the Frank Robinson one's up there too. No, that guy's going to the Hall of Fame, but point taken, right?
Frank Robinson went from the Cincinnati Reds to the Orioles after the '65 season. Forsythe is busy, goes to his left to throw out Devin Travis. 2 down here in the 3rd. Who did they give up in Cincinnati for Frank Robinson?
Bill Pappas.
Bill Pappas, that's right, yeah.
Because he was an old 30.
He was over the hill.
Yeah, what did he do?
He won the Triple Crown.
The first year he goes to Baltimore. Okay, I don't think he's over the hill.
You know what was interesting about that year in '66? Robinson won the Triple Crown, then Yaz did it in '67.
The next year. And there wasn't one till
Miguel Cabrera.
Miggy, right, a couple of seasons ago.
2 quick outs back to the top of the order. Jose Reyes grounded out to second his first time up. Blue Jays have 1 hit, an infield hit off the bat of Jose Bautista. May have been a routine 5-3 putout, but Longoria lost his footing and slipped. (2-0). What is it for a pitcher like Archer to string together so many good outings in a row against a good hitting ball club? How much does confidence play into that?
That's huge right there. You know, you were ripping off some of those names against some of those teams that they did it against, those pitchers. What makes Archer so impressive is he's doing it against the Blue Jays.
This is trouble down the left field line. It's going to land in foul territory and bounce into the seats. Beckham, Longoria, and De Jesus all converging on it, but it dropped in foul territory.
Just wasn't hit high enough right there for anybody to make the play. You know, I'm not taking anything away from anybody, but Clayton Kershaw versus San Diego. San Diego's hitting up until this year. There were nobody there that could hit. Sandy Koufax did his against the New York Mets, the expansion team in 62 and in 63. What makes Archer's thing so special, he's doing it against the Blue Jays, the best hitting team, the highest scoring team in the major leagues.
Reyes fouls off the highest slider. That's a great point. Jim Perry did it against the 72 Texas Rangers and Charlie Huff, the 87 Oakland A's. But this is the most potent offense in baseball, and Archer has shut them down completely. 13 base runners in his previous 3 starts here. And Reyes strikes out on that breaking ball. Second strikeout of the afternoon. Archer starting to find the groove. He's retired the last 7.
Fans, there's a great chance to meet a couple of Toronto Blue Jays. That will be on Thursday, July 30th between noon and 1 when Roberto Osuna and Chris Colabello will be at the Jay Shop at Eaton Center. No lineups prior to 10 a.m., 1 autograph per person, and no posed photos. Guys, I was talking to Roberto Osuna before the game, and during the All-Star break, he went back home to Mexico to see some friends and family. He almost missed his flight because leaving Kansas City, he had a 6:30 flight. He got there about 6:15. They barely let him on the plane, but he said it was so worth it when he got there. These 2 friends of his are his closest pals. He spent the whole time with them and his family. And you don't realize a 20-year-old being away from home for so long and how nice that is to go back and see some familiar faces.
That All-Star break is pretty special for baseball players, that's for sure. Jaso goes after the first pitch, pops it up, smoke. Makes the catch in foul territory. Pat, you know all about that Sunday at the end of the first half and the rush to the airport.
Everybody almost missed their flights. You try and get it far enough away from the game, but it took forever. And the airport in Kansas City is about 35-40 minutes away. A lot of guys were hightailing it out away from Kauffman Stadium last Sunday.
And it didn't help that it was a 11-10 ball game either. This is Grady Sizemore. He flied out to right field his first time up. Estrada jumps ahead with a strike. Sizemore was released by the Phillies in June, and Tampa Bay picked him up. We mentioned Grady's just 32 years old. Certainly, as far as his age goes, he should have plenty left in his tank, but he's dealt with a lot of significant injuries the last several years.
Knee injuries, elbow injuries. I think he had some back problems. He snapped an 0 for 20 with a home run here on Friday.
This is lifted to left. Colabello comes in a few steps. Sizemore is retired. Well, the Blue Jays and the Rays, they're right neck and neck in the AL East, and yesterday they were both at 46 and 46. Tampa Bay has a game over 500. Baltimore even at 500, 4 back in third place, and Toronto 4.5 back. Boston, they haven't scored since the second half started. They were shut out in Anaheim.
Back-to-back games, right? I think Garrett Richards got him last night, a 2-hit shutout, and they lost 1-0 the night before.
Rick Porcello's dropped to 5-10 for the season. Boston bringing up the rear in the AL East. They are 7 games under 500. Evan Longoria struck out on a high fastball his first time up. A lot of jockeying in the AL East, back and forth, people changing positions, teams going back and forth. Longoria pulls it foul. The Yankees, they were beaten yesterday by Seattle. Robinson Cano had a 2-homer game against his former team. But you look at this whole division, and it seems as though everybody's kind of waiting till that July trade deadline, see where they stand and whether or not they're buyers or sellers. It's a high fly ball that's going to stay in the ballpark. Pilar calling for it, waving off Colabello, and makes the catch. Longoria is 0 for 2. 3 up, 3 down for Estrada in the top of the 4th. Tim Beckham to end the 3rd, and we're going to show you how that play developed.
A couple of veterans trying to help their team with their defense. Watch Navarro. He's behind the plate. There's a left-handed batter up, and Josh Donaldson is playing way off the line. He takes a quick look over there. He wants that fastball up and away, and Donaldson takes off on the pitch, and then he fires down to third base to get the out to end that inning. That's what veterans can do. They're always into the game. They're always looking for those little things to help their team out, either offensively or defensively in this case.
With 1 out, Donaldson was constantly flashing signs to Navarro, just messing with the base runner Tim Beckham. Maybe he was putting something on, maybe he wasn't, but on the first pitch of the next at bat, they picked off Beckham to end the inning. You can always help your team, no matter if you're in the field or at the plate, and Donaldson and Navarro certainly did that and got Estrada out of a tough jam.
When you were a young player and you played against veteran teams like that, you saw how they worked, and it was intimidating for young players. What you have to do, I'm talking because Tim Beckham is a young player, and he was taken advantage of by a couple of veterans. I remember when I was a young player and we play a veteran team like the Yankees or the California Angels, where they had Doug DeCences and Bobby Grich, guys like that. It can become very intimidating, and you can't fall asleep when you're on the bases.
Bob Boone was involved with that team, of course, and both Bobby Grich and DeCinces, the second baseman and the third baseman, would block the base on pickoff attempts, and it was something you didn't see a lot of. But they both started it and became a big part of their defensive plays.
I tell you, the veteran players, they know how to play the game. They've been around the block a few times, and they know what to do to help their team.
3-1 now to Donaldson, leading off the 4th. He went around, didn't want to. Did you ever have a veteran infielder ask you to get off the base so he could clean it off?
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I've seen that happen, but it never happened to me. I remember one time Joe Carter was playing first base, and he asked Bill Buckner, to step off, and he had the ball. He threw a hidden ball trick on him.
2 hopper to short. Beckham has throw out Josh Donaldson on the 3-2 pitch.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Billy Buck was some kind of chapped after that, and I think he went and told the Red Sox pitchers to hit him a couple of times because he was embarrassed by that.
The hidden ball trick, and you have to pull it off, and everybody has to be involved because the pitcher cannot be on the dirt part of the pitching mound. But veteran infielders from time to time will keep the ball after a ground out, runner on base. Pitcher's in on it, and he'll wander around the mound, and that veteran will say, "Hey, kid, let me clean off the base."
Yeah, clean off the base? Well, sure. And you step off the base, and he tags you
Seems
out.
like such a nice guy.
Well, yeah. Now, the opposite of that is veteran players getting picked off by younger players. And I saw that happen. We were in Texas playing the Texas Rangers, and a young guy by the name of Pudge Rodriguez just came up with the Rangers, and Mookie was out on second base. Mookie Wilson got picked off. It's like, how could you get picked off by a catcher? You take your secondary lead, and he fires down there, and he picks you off. So I was all over him when he got back to the bench. Well, of course, fate has I'm at second base a couple innings later.
No, he didn't.
Guess who got picked off?
Mookie reminded you of that?
Yeah.
Bautista waits on the breaking ball. Another grounder to short. Beckham throws to Loney. 2 down. Now that's the proper way to use a snow mitten on a hot summer day. Keep the beer cold. The Blue Jays gave away those winter mittens on this giveaway Sunday. And that's a very, very bright person there. Said, you know what? It's a hot, muggy day here. Let me put this mitten to good use. Edwin Encarnacion flied out to center. His only time up.
Tell you wouldn't lose your mitten. Right there, you always know where it is.
It is 39 degrees Celsius, and it is heated up, and it's in the shade, and you can bet it's a little hotter down on that field. Ball on the strike to Encarnacion. Good power numbers again for Edwin, 18 and 54. Oh, he got under that one. A high fly to center field. Kiermaier waits for it. 3 up, 3 down. We'll go to the 5th. It's a scoreless game. Archer and Estrada hooked up. Time now for Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn.
quest for glory at the Pan Am Games. Tonight, a showdown against Brazil. We'll have all the action for you, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific, right here on Sportsnet. If the weather is anything like it is this afternoon, it will be a very hot one. And Buck, I can definitely confirm your report from earlier. It does feel a little bit warmer than 39 down here in the Camera Bay.
Well, Barry, it's a beautiful day for baseball, and you know what? You got your mittens down there. I'm sure you can use those mittens to hold on to that microphone and make sure it doesn't slip, because I know it's muggy down there.
I'm going to put one of them on top of my head, kind of like a hat.
It's a scoreless game. We move to the 5th, and Marco Estrada once again pitching very well against Tampa Bay. James Loney will lead things off. Estrada delivering that pitch down and away to Loney. Navarro wanted it upstairs, and he got the strike he was looking for. Fouled out of play. It's 0-2. Estrada and Navarro have really clicked. Opponent's batting average with these two working together is just 170 coming into this game. We mentioned previously the ERA 2.10 when Estrada pitches to Navarro.
How about the game that Neoner has had here through the first 4 innings? He's thrown out a base stealer at second base to end the 2nd inning. That was James Loney. And then we talked about the pickoff that ended the 3rd inning. And throwing some shutout ball up there right now, making the calls.
It's a challenge for a catcher, especially a backup catcher, when your games are infrequent. Loney goes after the high fastball. Bautista gets there and makes the catch. 1 down.
The 2015 Honda Civic is Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
That's right. Winner in July at Rogers Center. They've broken out the sheet and started the curling match down there. I know one thing, Canadians can never get enough curling.
I love
even in July.
it.
Yeah, it's a great sport.
I love watching it on TV.
It's a very good television sport, that's for sure. Comes across very effectively. This is Logan Forsythe, the second baseman. 2-0 to Forsythe.
Well, we were right about the outfield getting a lot of work with Marco Estrada on the mound this afternoon. Every out has been recorded in the outfield except for the 2 strikeouts in the bunt.
This is ripped into the seats down the left field line. Colabello's in left field. He's retrieving that foul ball. Kevin Pillar and Bautista in center and right respectively. Bautista has done a great job with the youngster Kevin Pillar in center as far as helping him position himself. First time Pillar has played every day in the big leagues, and of course Bautista, he's one of the best in baseball, understanding the defense, how you play other hitters, and he'll move the young center fielder around from time to time. Another pop-up. This could be playable for Smoke. He's got room on the warning track and makes the catch. Forsythe is retired. Seven straight retired by Marco Estrada. We mentioned that game at Tampa Bay in which he took a perfect game into the 8th inning. Retired the first batter in the 8th to keep that game intact. That was on the heels of a 7-inning 1-hit performance right here at Rogers Center against the Baltimore Orioles. He threw a no-hitter into the 7th inning. This is popped up. Reyes, the shortstop, out into the outfield. Estrada sets down the Rays in order in the 5th. It took him just 9 pitches, 3 up, 3 down.
Assignments in different places during the All-Star break. For Chris Archer, as soon as he was done in Cincinnati at the All-Star game, he flew right here to Toronto. On Thursday, he took in some Pan Am baseball, but what he did Friday was even more impressive, and you very rarely see this from a visiting ball player. He took his time, went to Etobicoke, and spoke to a large group of underprivileged children, kids from the ages of 6 to 12. He talked a little bit of baseball, but more importantly, he talked about life. He talked about growing up. He told me that he was adopted and went through some challenges as a kid, and he wanted to make sure that all the kids there knew that it doesn't matter where you come from when you're growing up. You have an opportunity to succeed in whatever you do. He says Toronto is just a fantastic city. He loves being in here, and any opportunity he has to talk to young kids and share his story, he takes advantage of. Just a great guy and a pretty darn good pitcher too, Buck.
Barry, that's a great story, and Chris Archer is one of the real bright young men in baseball, and he understands it. He can do a lot. He does it on the road as he's done here in Toronto, and he really works well with the Boys and Girls Club in the Tampa Bay area. He does a lot of things for the children. He stays involved in the off-season as well.
Spoke to the Toronto Junior RBI League on Friday. He talked to the players, the boys and girls between ages 6 and 12. He also visited the RBI leagues in Tampa and Cleveland this season. So says he likes to get around and check out different cities. And he likes what he sees here in Toronto.
You mentioned Archer's just 26 years old, but he recognizes that he can have an impact on some youngsters that might think that they're down on their luck. And gives them encouragement. Navarro gets a piece of that breaking ball. Archer has retired 10 straight. Estrada's retired 7 straight. Both of these pitchers we mentioned, they are hooking up once again in a tight game. Navarro's actually retired 8 straight as he got Kiermaier on a sacrifice bunt. Cut on and missed as Rivera tags out Navarro, 1 down. Well, we mentioned how Chris Archer has gotten better and better over the years in strikeouts per 9 innings, and when you look at the American League leaders in strikeouts per 9 innings, he's second to the great young left-hander from Chicago, Chris Sale.
3rd overall in the American League in strikeouts coming into this game. That was his 150th right there, but you got Chris Sale averaging 11 strikeouts per 9, and then Archer right behind him. And then the Cleveland Indians, they got a whole stable full of young pitchers. Salazar, Kluber, and Carrasco.
The puzzling part about Cleveland is they're still 4 games under 500. That 11.5 back. We mentioned this at the start of this 3-game series, how challenging it is for GMs and front offices in general to put teams together. You can focus on offense and say, okay, well, we got a pretty good team, and then you look up mid-season and say, man, we need some help in our pitching. But to put together the perfect team, there aren't many teams that have done that. And I think you could look at the 2 teams in Missouri and say they probably are the leaders in their respective leagues when you consider the Cardinals and the Royals and what they've done, putting together a whole ball club.
Baseball is unique, I think, from any other sports, because it's really the only sport where the defense starts with the baseball. So I think if you're going to build a winner, I think that's where you start. Defense. Your defense, the guys you put on the field who can catch the ball, make the routine play.
That's going to drop over the head of Forsythe, and Smoke has a base hit, a 1-out single. That's just the 2nd hit, and that snaps a string of 11 straight retired by Chris Archer.
Looked like a breaking ball, and Justin Smoke stayed right with that one and drops it into right field for a base hit. But on top of the great defense, you got to have great pitching, and if you do that, I think you'll figure out ways to score runs.
Well, you know, there's been such an influence of these sabermetricians in the stats, and they talk about, well, you need an on-base percentage, and you got to have so many guys that hit this in tight situations. It gets down to pitching and catching. If you can catch it in the outfield and your pitchers throw strikes, you're going to be in a lot of ball games.
You know, right before the break, that ball is lifted to right field.
Sizemore over in the corner. That ball is going to slice out of play beyond his reach, and Colabello has life.
Right before the break, we had a board. We were talking about the highest scoring teams in Blue Jays history in runs per game up until the All-Star break, and this team is right up there scoring the most runs, and they were the top 5 teams in Blue Jay history. the one theme that went through each one of those, none of those teams made the playoffs. It's the teams that had the pitching and the defense were the teams that went to the playoffs.
And no matter how many ways you slice it, you just can't get around it. You look at the club pitching, Oakland, they lead the pack. Of course, they're having a disappointing season, 42-51. But then it's Kansas City, the Angels, Tampa Bay, Houston. Everybody's right there. This ball's got a chance. Get up, get up, God! Chris Colabello. A 2-run home run off Chris Archer. And the Blue Jays have taken a 2-0 lead. It's only the second home run Archer has allowed here at Rogers Center, as Colabello goes deep for the 9th time this season, a 2-run homer.
Well, you know what he did? He stayed back on that baseball. It was a breaking ball, and he let that ball come to him. He didn't go out there and go meet it. He let that ball come to him and then show plenty of power to left field. That ball jumped out of here quickly. Just the 12th home run that he's given up this year, 5 of them to righties.
How about this being a game of inches? Villar pops this into center. Kiermaier goes back, makes the catch. But the previous pitch that Archer threw could have been a fly ball out to right, but it went into the seats. The next pitch goes out of the ballpark to left, and Archer knew it.
Yeah, as soon as he threw it, breaking ball, you can see Chris Colabello, he's got that wide stance, and he let that ball come to him. The weight shift didn't occur until he swung the bat. If he goes out there to try and hit that ball, he's going to swing over the top of it. He stayed back on it. Pretty swing. Colabello hits his 9th home run.
There's something magical about the 5th inning for the Blue Jays. They do a lot of damage in the 5th inning. It gives you an opportunity to see the starter for a second time, have a little more information, put it to good use. Come around that 5th inning, boy, Blue Jays have put up some crooked numbers. Jays have a 2-0 lead against Chris Archer.
Those 2 runs on the board against Archer snaps that streak that we were talking about earlier.
He will have to start another streak. The streak of 4 consecutive games, 7 or more innings, allowing 1 or fewer earned runs. That is gone. Mentioned his last start before the All-Star break. He was roughed up by the Kansas City Royals. That was on July 8th in Kansas City. He gave up 9 earned runs on 12 hits.
A couple of walks and a couple of home runs in that game against the Royals.
Nevin Travis takes ball 3. It's a full count. Reyes is on deck. Justin Smoke singled with 1 out. That set the table for Chris Colabello. He got a slider from Chris Archer and knocked it out of the ballpark.
A couple of players, we talked about it the other day, Blue Jays picked up on waivers this winter, doing some damage this inning.
First-year Blue Jays having an impact on their offense for certain. Marco Estrada's in that category as well. A first-year Blue Jay. Breaking ball. Travis will take ball 4 and turn the lineup over. That's the first walk issued by Chris Archer.
The 2015 Honda Civic is Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Winter in July. A lot of activities with a winter theme here at Rogers Center this afternoon. Blue Jays gave away winter Blue Jay mittens for the first 20,000 fans in attendance. Reyes fights it off, hits it past Longoria. Travis is headed for third. DeJesus gets it back in. Reyes will jog into second with a 2-out double. Travis drew the walk to turn the lineup over, and Reyes doubles right behind him.
Sometimes it's not how hard you hit it, it's where you hit it. Jose Reyes gets fooled on this breaking ball. An inside-out swing, and because the third baseman has got to respect the speed of Reyes, Longoria's in and shoots it right by him. Travis ends up at third base. How about the at-bat by Devin Travis? 3-2 breaking ball, and he lays off of it for ball 4.
He worked Archer for the walk. That was the first walk of the ball game issued by Chris Archer. Jim Hickey out with a quick visit to the mound, talking things over. Josh Donaldson will bat with 2 outs and 2 on. He was looking breaking ball and fouls it straight back.
Yeah, he was looking. You can see how he just weighted back on that back leg, timed it perfectly, and just missed it. Well, you got 2 big runs out there for the Blue Jays.
Blue Jays have struggled recently to score runs. Another slide of this one a little bit further off the plate outside. Over their last 9 games, the Blue Jays have averaged 3.8 runs a ball game. A major departure from where they had been all season long, averaging over 5 runs a game. Donaldson in the hole, 0-2. 97 with the heat, but outside.
Looked like they wanted that ball in right there, and he pulled it off the plate. Normally throws that slider 40% of the time. When he gets to 2 strikes, he jumps up to 58%.
Hitters batting just over 200 against Archer in these situations. High breaking ball. It is a hot, muggy day here, and I say that because Chris Archer began throwing during his warm-up process at 12:36, very early. And he said the All-Star appearance, which he worked an inning and a third, did not impact him for this start. That's a high fly ball. Sizemore has a beat on it. The inning is over, but the Blue Jays get a 2-run home run from Chris Colabello. We'll go to the 6th, and here comes the Home Hardware Cleanup Crew, brought to you by Natura. Home Hardware's exclusive line of safe, environmentally friendly cleaning products.
Market regular season game live or on demand in true HD. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch track it widget, and much, much more. It also includes a free At Bat 15 subscription. Watch baseball at home, at the office, on the go, or even in the backyard. Season-long subscription packages are available. Visit BlueJays.com for more details. Buck?
Thank you very much, Barry. And The Blue Jays have a 2-0 lead thanks to a Chris Colabello 2-run home run. Marco Estrada deals to Tim Beckham. Drops that curveball in there for a strike. Colabello is out of the game after hitting the home run. Ezequiel Carrera comes in to play left field. Tim Beckham, he doubled to lead off the third. Moved to third base on a sacrifice bunt by Kevin Kiermaier. And then with 2 outs, he was picked off third base.
And that has been the only inning where they have threatened against Marco Estrada so far this afternoon. Leadoff double, and they just could not bring him in.
Estrada's working on 9 days rest, and he ran into a real problem when he had those extended outings, and they were extended because he was pitching so well. That's foul down the right side. That's going to drop into the seats, out of play. On June 19th against the Orioles, he took a no-hitter into the 7th inning. Jimmy Paredes had a pinch hit base hit, and then Marco was out of the game, but he threw 118 pitches. Then in his next game, that game against Tampa Bay, he threw 129 pitches in 8 2/3, and that really caught up to him.
Yeah, he was trying to throw no-hitters and perfect games.
Beckham with an excuse me swing. It's a lazy fly ball to right. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Things are getting a little bit desperate in Detroit, and it just makes you wonder, will the Tigers be sellers at the trade deadline? They could fall to a game under 500 with a loss today against Baltimore.
Sellers like a David Price.
Sellers like a David Price. Be a free agent at the end of this season, and that's the trend.
Very interesting.
It happened to David Price as a member of the Rays.
Finish up that thought about Marco Estrada. He threw all those pitches because he was doing something special, and that really pushed him past his limit. And I remember talking to him, saying how tired and how sore he was after those 2 games, and it showed. His next start after that Baltimore and Tampa start, he only lasted 2 1/3 innings and got roughed up by the Boston Red Sox. He then had 6 days off because of an off day. In Detroit, he was much better. He threw 5 innings and he gave up just 2 earned runs, but it took him 101 pitches to do that.
Little soft liner back to Estrada. Kiermaier lines out to the pitcher.
And then his last start on the 10th, he had 5 days normal rest against Kansas City. Much better. You can see the strength coming back for Estrada. He threw 6 2/3 innings and just gave up 2 earned runs. You mentioned the 9 days because of the All-Star break. You can see what it has done for Marco Estrada. It looks very sharp.
Yeah, he does look very sharp. He has been all afternoon. He hasn't walked a batter. He's allowed just 2 hits. Number 9 hitter is the catcher, Rene Rivera. He flied out to left field back into third. The appeal down to first. Laz Diaz says no swing. A ball and no strikes to Rivera. Estrada has faced the minimum into the 6th here because of a strike him out, throw him out, double play, and then they picked off Tim Beckham in the 3rd to end that inning. So they have faced the minimum through 5 2/3. Donaldson and Navarro executing the pickoff play at 3rd. Boy, that's a good changeup, isn't it?
It looks like a fastball coming out of his hand because of that great arm action he has on it. He throws it as hard as he can. Look at that. Digs it back into those fingers and lets it roll off of those middle 2 fingers.
1-2. He got him. Estrada with just his 2nd strikeout gets Rivera 3 up, 3 down in the 6th. We go to the 7th. The Blue Jays lead it 2-0, and the big guns will start things out. It'll be Jose Bautista.
Sitting in the TD comfort zone, and today in those big comfy chairs are guests of TD. Meanwhile, over in the Jays Care Community Clubhouse are folks from the Ottawa Boys and Girls Clubs. Buck, I know you're a big fan of having all the kids out at the ballpark, especially those clubs.
Absolutely, Barry. They always have a great time when they visit the Jays Care Community Clubhouse, and they're down there having a good time down the left field line. And why not? The Blue Jays have a 2-0 lead. It'll be Bautista, Encarnacion, and Navarro, middle of the order for the Jays here in the 6th. We mentioned the 5th inning has been real good to the Blue Jays all season long. They scored 2 runs in the 5th inning on the home run by Colabello. For the season, they have scored 62 runs in the 5th inning. That's the most in the majors. They have a lot of veteran hitters who generally in that 5th inning or at least in their 2nd, possibly 3rd at bat. All of that information they've compiled in their first 2 at bats against the starter pays off in the 5th.
And the Blue Jays do a really good job of passing that information around and making adjustments. You can see it from the first time through and then the 2nd time through, and I talk to the hitting coaches about that all the time. They're amazed, both Brooke Jacoby and Eric Owens, how they can pass that information from one another and then make the adjustments from at bat to at bat.
12.2% of the Blue Jays runs have been scored in the 5th inning. Bautista bounces it towards short. High hop for Beckham. 1 down. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. He's busy today. Seattle trying to win that series against the Yankees, and the Blue Jays will see the Mariners next weekend in Seattle. The Mariners are 8.5 games back at the start of play. The front-running Angels have a 1.5 lead over the Houston Astros. We will see Felix Hernandez in the opening game on Friday night in Seattle. That'll be Dickey and Felix Hernandez to open up that Mariners series. This is popped up out in front of home plate. Longoria, the 3rd baseman, calls for it, makes the catch. We mentioned the Blue Jays will travel after this game, enjoy an off day in San Francisco on Monday before they take on the A's beginning Tuesday. Kendall Graveman, the former Blue Jay, at 6-5 will open it up. Sonny Gray is 10-3. He'll go Wednesday night. And then on Thursday afternoon, Scott Kazmir, 5-5 with a .324 earned run average. Then on Friday night, King Felix, 11-5 for the season going into the game today. And then former Blue Jay Jay Happ will go up against Marco Estrada next Saturday in Seattle. Kiermaier plays that ball on the hop as Deanna Navarro has had quite an afternoon here. Navarro, line drive base hit to center field.
He's had a couple of good at bats. He lined out the second base his first time up, struck out on a 3-2 breaking ball. Now hits his first pitch into left field or center field for his base hit, his first base hit of the afternoon. Finishing up that thought about the players and the pitchers who they're going to be facing over the next few times. Counting Archer's start here today, the Blue Jays this game and on the road trip will face 4 of the best ERA pitchers in the American League. King Felix comes in at number 10. Gray is 2nd and Kazmir is 5th.
Yeah, it's not going to be an easy trip, but that's life in the big leagues. I don't care where you play, and certainly every time the Blue Jays go out west, it's a real challenge, especially into Oakland and Seattle. Over the last 5 seasons, the Blue Jays are 14-23 playing those 2 teams on the West Coast.
You're going to get good pitching, just like you're getting good pitching today. Archer's .274 earned run average is 8th in the American League.
Justin Smoke connected for just the second base hit against Archer this afternoon. That came in the 5th inning with 1 out. And then right behind him, Chris Colabello hit a 2-run home run, the only runs in this ballgame. And we talked about the game being a game of inches. Before Colabello hit that 2-run home run, he had a high fly ball down the right field line that was just inches from being caught by Grady Sizemore. It sliced out of play into the seats, and Colabello got a chance for another pitch. Next pitch, home run. Archer still has a lot on that fastball. That last pitch, 98 miles an hour.
You know, it's so free and easy, and the fastball's got so much life to it. Even now here in the 6th inning, his 92nd pitch was 98 miles an hour.
Smoke goes after that high heater. It's a full count. You see the catcher, Rene Rivera, reminding everybody the base runner at first will be on the move. Carrera is on deck. He came into the game in the 6th as a defensive replacement for Colabello. Smoke strikes out. Foul tip held on to by Rene Rivera. That ends the 6th. The Blue Jays have a 2-0 lead over Chris Archer, trying to beat him for the first time. The slider gets Justin Smoke to end the 6th.
Watching a Blue Jays game, it is MLB's Live Tracker. Get play-by-play updates, batter hit zone charts, and real-time win percentage. Get MLB Live Tracker simply by clicking on any game matchup on sportsnet.ca/MLB Live Tracker. It's also available through the Sportsnet app. A great new way to follow your favorite game. Buck?
Barry, there's a lot going on around baseball, and that Live Tracker will help you out. Seattle has a 1-0 lead over the Yankees. Baltimore up over the Tigers 7-1, top of the 5th in Detroit. John Jaso, the leadoff man, will bat against Marco Estrada, who has faced the minimum through 6. Curveball in there for strike 1. Estrada's been around the plate all afternoon, really mixing up his pitches very effectively, in harmony with his catcher, Gianna Navarro. Breaking ball up the middle. Estrada swiped at it, but Reyes was playing on the first base side of second, makes an easy play.
You know, that's another thing that Gianna Navarro does so well, is he'll mix and match. I was talking with Marco about that after one of his starts. He said Gianna is so far ahead. He's thinking 2, 3, 4 pitches ahead of me, how he's going to get these guys out. So now he'll start incorporating the curveball every now and then as a get me over first pitch, or start throwing the changeup earlier in the count, using the fastball. There's a little bit of everything, and that's what's intriguing when you've got veterans like that who really study their scouting reports and how they work together in a game like today.
So much is placed on confidence, and Estrada has confidence in what Navarro calls. And they have had success together, as we have mentioned. So when Navarro puts down a finger, Estrada says, well, that must be the right pitch, and he's going to throw it with total conviction. Over the years, we have seen catchers that'll put down a finger and it'd be very tentatively, like, maybe this one, how about this one, maybe that one. And the pitcher's standing out there going, boy, I wonder what he's doing back there.
Not a lot of conviction in what he's trying to call back there, but you can see it. They're working all over the strike zone right here. Marco said he didn't shake him off one time a couple of starts ago.
Well, I asked Navarro, as I mentioned, about what he likes with Estrada. He said he can locate his pitches almost as good as Mark Buehrle. And that's high praise. Navarro said the difference between Buehrle and Estrada will make a pitch on the corner and then try to replicate that. He might miss. Well, when Buehrle makes a pitch on the corner, he can adjust it in or out on the next pitch. Boy, he's staying in good spots to Sizemore. Off the plate, down and away, makes him reach. Seventh inning, Blue Jays leading 2-0. Sizemore has to protect with 2 strikes.
Marco's got the ability right now, today, to throw the ball where he wants to, so you can execute that game plan you were just talking about. High fastball, drop in a curveball, change up, down and away.
Why is Navarro using a sequence of signs here with nobody at second base?
Scared that they're stealing signs? You know, maybe they're watching on TV or something like that. You can see he's not giving just that one sign.
Off speed pitch, tapped towards second. Travis will flip to first in time. 2 down.
The 2015 Honda Civic is Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
The Rays will leave town and go to Philadelphia after this ball game. A rematch of the 2008 World Series. The one that not many of the current Rays remember, but this man, Evan Longoria, certainly has vivid memories of that World Series.
I think he's the only active player left on Tampa Bay from that 2008 team. Tom Foley, who's the bench coach, was on that team.
It was a very disappointing end to a fabulous season. There's Tom Foley, who is now the bench coach, but the weather was awful in Philadelphia. They had an extended rain delay. They called off one game late. The Rays even had to find a new hotel. They had booked a departure and needed to relocate. Kevin Pillar with a long run. He'll get there. Another easy play for Kevin Pillar, that is, not everybody else. 3 up, 3 down in the 7th. Estrada still facing the minimum. Civic, Canada's best-selling car 17 years in a row, and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Well, there's been one big hit, and this is it right here. Chris Colabello gets this hanging breaking ball and puts it into the seats and left field for his 9th home run. The difference in the ball game right here. The only runs that have come across the drive of the game from Chris Colabello, his 9th home run.
Quite a ball game. We expected a good pitching matchup today, and that's exactly what we have. A 2-0 ball game. Only 7 hits in the game. 2 for Tampa Bay, just 5 for the Blue Jays. Ezequiel Carrera goes after the first pitch. This is his first at bat of the game. He entered the game in the 6th as a defensive replacement for the left fielder, Chris Colabello. Ball and a strike to the leadoff man here in the 7th. Fastball up and away, 1-2. The Rays have held their own in the AL East as they have battled back and forth. They've had hot streaks, cold streaks, but they enter this game a game over 500. 3.5 back of the front-running Yankees. They've done that despite injuries all season long, and everybody deals with injuries, but I don't understand that the Rays have been able to handle it as well as they have. That's Brandon Gomes loosening up.
Yeah, for years you never heard of any injuries from Tampa Bay, and they've had their problems this year.
It's put a lot of pressure on Chris Archer to make up for the loss of Drew Smiley. The left-hander's only thrown 16 2/3. Matt Moore is just back from Tommy John surgery. He has pitched only 14 innings. Alex Cobb is done for the season because of Tommy John surgery. That happened on April 5th. So this has been a tough season for the pitchers especially, but Chris Archer has held his own and picked up the slack for the loss of those 3 good starters.
Alex Cobb was the #1 on this team, and he hasn't thrown a pitch for this team yet. #2 was going to be Matt Moore, but he was coming back from Tommy John. What it has allowed Chris Archer to do has allowed him to develop and throw big innings for them and be the guy at the front of that rotation. If everybody comes back healthy next season, Tampa Bay Rays are going to be right there again.
Pilar hits it sharply, but right to the second baseman. Chris Archer with 2 quick outs here, a strikeout and a ground out. Archer entered this game with a team leading 121 2/3 innings pitched. He's got 2 outs in the 7th. And he understands his role. He's got to be the ace. He's got to be the guy that sets the standards. And the guy that set up that mindset overall for this Rays team was James Shields. Shields was drafted in a late round draft pick at that. But he's the one that got the pitchers together where they worked as a group. They got into the weight room. They took a lot of pride in their preparation, and they carried that into their starts. And that's been an ongoing theme for this Rays team.
Yeah, he passed the mantle to David Price, and then David Price passed it down to these other young players. Most starts with 1 earned run or less this year. Chris Archer's had 11 of them. I mean, that's taking the mantle and running with it, being the guy.
Jim Hickey in his 9th season as the pitching coach. Puts a lot of pressure on his pitchers to throw strikes. Change speeds, command that changeup, and he knew and recognized Archer's ability and challenged him to be an ace.
He was another one of the coaches we didn't get a chance to mention was on the last team that went to the World Series, that 2008 team. He was the pitching coach, obviously.
The high fastball, and Archer reaches back, hits 99, and that might be his last pitch of the ball game, and he strikes out Devin Travis. couple of strikeouts in the seventh. He has struck out 6, but he trails 2-0. Telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Big crowd on hand here today at Rogers Center, 41,683. 3 great crowds over this weekend series. On Friday night, almost 33,000. Almost 42,000 yesterday and today. Great turnout for this AL East rivalry. Tampa Bay at Toronto. Loney, Forsythe, and DeJesus for the Rays here in the 8th. The Blue Jays have realigned their bullpen and given Bo Schultz more meaningful appearances. Roberto Osuna is loosening up here in the 8th. It's a 2-0 game. John Gibbons has said that Bo Schultz is going to be given a lot of late inning opportunities. Roberto Osuna the same, and Osuna has been the closer.
They got them both up here just in case Marco runs into trouble in this inning. He would probably bring in Bo Schultz first, and if he needs an extended save opportunity for Osuna, maybe get one more out in the 8th and then the 9th inning. That's why he has him up also.
Osuna pitched on Friday night through just 9 pitches. This is popped up. Donaldson backpedaling into the outfield. Loney is 1 for 3. Estrada and Archer, the starters in this ball game, and Chris Archer gets a handshake from the skipper for another good outing. And yeah, it is a good outing. Just 2 runs on 5 hits, but he's on the wrong side of a 2-0 score. The Blue Jays trying to beat Archer for just the 2nd time in his career. He brings a 5-1 record into this game against the Jays.
That's been the problem for Tampa Bay this year. They just haven't been able to score runs. They've got the 3rd lowest combined batting average coming into this series in Major League Baseball.
Archer gave up a 2-run home run to Chris Colabello, only the 2nd home run he's allowed in 7 starts here at Rogers Center. Pretty good job of keeping the ball in the ballpark against this lineup.
His 106th pitch of the afternoon was 99 miles an hour. He still had some left in the tank.
Ball on a strike to Logan Forsythe. Hit hard through the hole. It's short into left field. Forsythe picks up his first hit of the afternoon. He is 4 for 9 in this 3-game series.
That stops a streak of 15 in a row set down by Marco Estrada.
Dane Johnson checking with the dugout, telling Osuna where he stands in this inning. Bo Schultz is also ready and standing by in the Blue Jays pen. David DeJesus has struck out and popped out. These are the games where the Blue Jays really need to close the door in the late innings. Runs have been at a premium for the Blue Jays offensively, and they've scored just 2 today. But the late inning losses are devastating. And the Blue Jays have gone through a real tough stretch, and their bullpen has coughed up some leads late.
If you have any thought of winning the division, getting into the playoffs, you have to win these types of games right here.
Well, you've been down in the dugout for years as a player, and you know when you do everything right, you take a lead late into the game, 8th and 9th inning, and then you lose those games. I mean, that's the worst loss ever. You could lose 15 to nothing, and it doesn't have the same impact as losing one in the 8th or 9th.
You're right, and those tend to hang with you and tend to linger just a little bit. They sting and they hurt, so you're right. You need to win those games, and you have to figure out now the way the game is played now, the way the bullpens are set up. You have to have lockdown 8th inning guys along with lockdown 9th inning guys.
And that's why John Gibbons has shuffled the deck down in that bullpen. Bo Schultz has thrown the ball so well, he has earned the right to pitch more meaningful innings. And those innings have the most meaning for the manager. I can speak from experience. Upstairs, it's 1-2 now to DeJesus. Estrada has thrown 103 pitches in his last 2 starts prior to the All-Star break. He pitched against Detroit and Kansas City, both on the road. He threw 101 pitches in each of those 2 games. He's running out of gas. That's the sign when you see those pitches up and away to left-handed hitters. That tells me that Estrada's starting to lose his legs. He's not able to drive through his delivery.
Yeah, and he's overthrowing right now, trying to find a little something extra in that tank, and you can see he's out of rhythm just a little bit. You see him falling off the mound just a little bit more. He's trying to generate power instead of let it just happen. Change-up's important then.
And he throws a high fastball right past DeJesus. That's 4 strikeouts now for Estrada. Second out of the inning.
Fastball's lost a couple of miles per hour, but this one's in a good spot. Up. Tough to hit that ball out of the ballpark. Get on top of it. Marco's giving him everything he's got to try and finish off this inning.
As a pitcher, you want to walk off the mound with your team. You want to walk off with the manager. Marco would love to be able to close out this 8th inning. 2 down, Tim Beckham. Beckham hit a double in his first at bat in the 3rd. He's 1 for 2. Batting .224 for the season. Beckham has 10 hits against the Blue Jays. He has 22 all season long. He has worn out the Blue Jays.
3 doubles, 5 home runs this year. He is a free swinger, and he can reach the seats, so you got to bear down against him.
Two and 0. To him a high fastball, and Beckham fouls it out of play.
got 5 home runs. He would have had 6 if not for Kevin Pillar. Remember that great catch we saw earlier in the year? That was against the batter, Tim Beckham.
Early in April, when Pillar was playing left field, he scaled the left field wall and took a home run away from Beckham. 2-1. Money. When he throws that changeup, he really has a lot of confidence, and you're right about late in the game. When you've lost your legs a little bit, it's easiest to throw that changeup.
So throw another one right here after you saw that type of swing from Tim Beckham. Throw him another changeup.
I don't care if he's looking for it. That's Estrada's best pitch. In the dirt. Went with the changeup. Kevin Kiermaier, the left-handed hitting center fielder, is on deck if Beckham can reach base.
And now 3-2. The runner is going to take off at first base. Justin Smoke has informed him he's going to play behind him. The outfielder's taking a couple of steps back now with the tying run at the plate.
Throw him another changeup. Full count, 2 outs. Blue Jays with a 2-0 lead. More than likely, this will be the last pitch of the game for Marco Estrada. Here it is. Cut out and missed. He got him with the changeup. Beckham strikes out to end the top of the 8th. Marco Estrada walks off the field with his team. Another stellar outing for Estrada against Tampa Bay. 2-0 Jays. Now time for Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn.
Get Rogers Internet 30 Plus Basic TV Bundle for $62.97 per month for the first 3 months. Find out how. Call 1-888-ROGERS-1 now.
Marco Estrada with another terrific start against Tampa Bay. He goes 8 innings, allows just 3 hits and a big strikeout. He went right back to his bread and butter, the changeup.
3-2 changeup. Good call by Navarro. Good pitch by Estrada. Finishes off the Rays in the 8th inning. He got the handshake from John Gibbons. His afternoon is finished off 7. Check that, 8 Sterling innings for Marco Estrada. Just 3 hits.
Looking to improve to 7-5 for the season. He has dropped his ERA to 3.22. New pitcher into the game is Brandon Gomes. Gomes pitched here on Friday night. Pitched an inning through just 6 pitches. He faced Martin Carrera and Kevin Pillar. David DeJesus, the left fielder, jogs in a few steps and makes the catch, and Reyes is retired.
Gomes has now faced the Blue Jays. This is his 23rd game against the Jays, and he brings his best game against Toronto. This is the most appearances versus any opponents he has had in his young career. Fastball, breaking ball, and you can see he's got that split grip. He throws a nice splitter.
Josh Donaldson looks at a first pitch slider for a strike. Donaldson's got 0 for 3 in the ballgame. Blue Jays have just 5 hits. Reyes has a double. Bautista a single. Navarro has a single to center. Smoke singled ahead of the Colabello home run, and that's been it. Two and one to the Blue Jays third baseman. Josh Donaldson made a pivotal play in this ball game defensively back in the third inning. He and Deanna Navarro hooked up for a pickoff play. They picked off Tim Beckham at third in a scoreless ball game. That ended the third inning.
And that has been the closest Tampa Bay has come to score this afternoon, to show you how dominant Marco Estrada has been.
Navarro did a good job of setting up that pickoff play as he called for a pitch up and away and leaned right into the throw. Donaldson will start things off against Gomes with the leadoff walk. Check that, a 1-out walk. 1 out and a man at first for Bautista. Chris Archer will have his stretch of 4 straight games against the Blue Jays snap. He had a string of 4 games with 7 or more innings and 3 or fewer hits. Blue Jays scored 2 runs against Archer on a 2-run home run, and that's it.
Not as sharp as we have seen him so far this year. This is 4th time that the Blue Jays have seen Archer this year, and they got a chance to finally beat him.
Bautista 1 for 3 on the afternoon. Colabello, big swing of the bat this afternoon, his 9th home run. A 2-run shot in the 5th, and that's been the extent of the scoring this afternoon. Bautista with a big cut lifts it into the seats down the left side. Longoria is there, but it's well out of play. Jose homered yesterday in the 6th inning. That was his 18th home run of the season. He has 6 consecutive seasons of 17 or more home runs at the All-Star break. That's the longest such active streak in the majors.
Amazing. Amazing. Right on top of that plate. He's daring him to come inside.
Ball on the strike to the Blue Jays right fielder, Brandon Gomes, in his first inning of relief. Bautista out in front of that splitter, 2-2.
Boy, he saw that one. That was a hanger, and he missed it. Looking for his first career hit against Gomes.
Gomes has an unusual delivery, and he's got kind of a slinging action, and it has created some problems for the Blue Jays hitters. As Pat mentioned, he has pitched well against the Jays. This is his 23rd career appearance, and they've hit just 188 against him.
We had a lot of strikeouts.
Donaldson was on the move on the 3-2 pitch. Bautista pops it into the seats, foul. He'll go back to first. You saw Edwin Encarnacion on deck. Edwin is 0 for 6 against Gomes as well. There goes Donaldson again. It's fouled back. At the start of this game, it was 28 degrees, and the humidex suggested it felt like 36. It's now up to 29 degrees. Feels like 37 here in the 8th inning. Bautista, another foul back. Donaldson wasn't breaking on the pitch.
You know, this can only work out nicely for Jose Bautista and the Blue Jays, seeing all of these pitches in this extended at bat against Gomes.
On Friday night, he only needed 6 pitches to retire the side in order. There goes Donaldson. Bautista hits another foul. Donaldson's getting in his road work. Looking back at Luis Rivera as he jogs back toward first to make sure he's going to run again.
You run just to stay out of the double play, just in case Jose hits the ball on the ground.
Donaldson not running here, and Bautista drills it to center. Kiermaier's back at the wall. Get up, gone! Home run for Bautista. Number 19 for number 19.
Told you it could only work out well for Bautista, seeing all those pitches from Brandon Gomes. He saw everything he had to offer. And he picks up his first career hit against the right-handed reliever. He saw the breaking ball. He saw the fastball. He saw a splitter and finally got something out over the plate, and he put a charge into it.
Big insurance swing of the bat by Bautista. That gives him 19 home runs and 63 RBIs.
One more time. Breaking ball. And after you see 9 or 10 pitches in an at-bat and you finally get the one you like, you're not going to miss it.
Don't look now, folks, but Jose Bautista is leading the American League in RBIs. This 2-run home run gives him 63. 5th home run Gomes has allowed this season. Pair of 2-run homers today. Blue Jays making the most of their 6 hits. Encarnacion fouls it into the seats. Bautista 2 for 4 on the afternoon. He's bumped his average up to 241, but he is doing the damage.
Yeah, if the Blue Jays can get him and Encarnacion with that home run swings where they can get hot together, watch out.
The most potent trio in the major leagues offensively: Donaldson, Bautista, and Encarnacion. This one's going to stay in the yard. Kiermaier waits for it. Encarnacion flies out to center.
The 2015 Honda Civic is Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Brandon Gomes gives up a 2-run home run to Bautista. He pitches 2/3 of an inning. He'll leave the ball game.
15th to 20th in Dunedin, Florida. Join Roberto Alomar, George Bell, Jesse Barfield, and many more for the ultimate Major League experience. Your package includes airfare, hotels, meals, uniform, and 4 outstanding days of baseball. Spots are limited. If you want to go to BlueJays.com/fantasycamp. What?
Great opportunity to get some sun down in Florida and be around some great Blue Jay alumni. No pitcher in the ballgame with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th is the left-hander Xavier Cedeno making his 40th appearance of the season.
1-1 with a .328 earned run average. He was acquired from the Dodgers for cash at the beginning of the season in April. Another lefty that they have down in that bullpen. He's got a good curveball, and he's going to turn Gianna Navarro around, make him back right-handed.
Navarro's had a good day, especially behind the plate, flashing the signs for Marco Estrada. He also threw out a base stealer and picked off a runner at third. Just for good measure, he threw in a base hit. Ball on a strike to the Blue Jays catcher. Navarro making just his 15th start behind the plate. Remember, he had a hamstring injury. It cost him about a month of the season. That's a good slider. Navarro for the season batting .222 against left-handed pitching.
Tell you what, though, he's come up with some big hits against his former team, hasn't he? Toronto versus Tampa Bay.
That he has. You see now Steve Delabar loosening up for the Blue Jays. Blue Jays will have an off day tomorrow, and Navarro chases that nasty slider in the dirt. That ends the bottom of the 8th inning, but the Blue Jays add a pair of runs. Jose Bautista has homered in back-to-back games. With a man aboard and 1 out, he goes deep to center. Home run number 19 for the Blue Jays, number 19, Jose Bautista. Roberto Osuna will enter the ballgame. This will be his 40th appearance of the season. It is not a save opportunity thanks to the Jose Bautista 2-run home run.
He was up getting loose, so he's up after the home run. You got to bring him in. You don't want to sit him back down, so Osuna will come in. Roberto finished off Friday night's win against the Tampa Bay Rays. He came in a non-same situation there. Blue Jays were up by 4 runs on Friday night. They won that game 6-2. He finished that one off with a very tidy 1-2-3 ninth inning. He will try to do the same thing here Sunday afternoon.
Kevin Kiermaier is the leadoff man here against Osuna. You saw Brandon Guyer on deck. Guyer will pinch hit for the catcher, Rene Rivera. Bautista, we mentioned he's the leader of the outfield defense, and he is moving the outfielders around, according to the batter, Kiermaier. And he didn't move him in the right spot as that ball is sliced by Carrera. Kiermaier will break it down and stop at second. And just like that, how big is that Bautista 2-run home run in the bottom of the 8th?
Yeah, this Rays team, they never give up. They always seem to battle right down to the end. Fastball over the middle. Kiermaier all over that. They have kept him quiet for the most time in this series. He's only had an infield hit until that double.
He's now 2 for 10 in the series. That's his 18th double of the season, a leadoff double. This is Brandon Guyer pinch hitting for the catcher, Rene Rivera. Guyer has been a very effective pinch hitter. He's had 24 pinch hitting at bats. He's hit .273 as a pinch hitter. And he has a home run and 6 RBIs coming off the bench.
That's a lot for an American League team. National League, of course, you're going to pinch it. You got the chance to play every day. American League, with the DH, there's just not a lot of opportunities.
Guyer had a big home run in yesterday's game. In the 7th inning, that tied it at 2-2, a 1-out home run off Aaron Loup. Good strike right at the top of the zone. 1-2. Roberto Osuna has been a very pleasant surprise for the Blue Jays this season. The 20-year-old has taken over the closer's role here mid-season. Strikes out Guyer, the pinch hitter.
They go back to that high fastball once again. Deoner Navarro uses it very effectively. First with Marco Estrada on the mound, and now with the hard throwing Osuna. You can see him once that ball up like that. He knows how hard that is to try and get on top of it.
First pitch strike to John Jaso, the leadoff man. The Blue Jays have 5 shutouts this season. Trying to make it 6 here as they have a 4-0 lead. Put that number in perspective, the Oakland Athletics have 12 shutouts. They lead the American League in that department. Next closest teams, a bunch of them have 8. So Oakland far and away the leaders in team shutouts for the season. Ball and a strike to Jaso.
What a contrast, isn't it, from Marco Estrada's great changeup to the powering fastball of Osuna?
Well, and it's a different fastball. Not only is it different in velocity, but there's a little extra hop in Osuna's fastball. It finishes very aggressively in the zone. No chance. 97 back-to-back strikeouts after the leadoff double.
And put in a good spot, down and away, just like the previous pitch when he swung over the top of it. Osuna goes right back out there, the two-seamer. Look at that thing. That's the eye, the outside corner.
Two outs. Grady Sizemore, the right fielder, 0 for 3 this afternoon. Fouls back that first pitch. Osuna has the perfect arsenal for a closer. He throws hard and he's got good control. He can spot the fastball at 97, 98 miles an hour. Everything else is academic.
And he's got a good changeup. But you know what I like the best about that? Ice water in his veins at just 20 years old. Looks like he's been here for 10 years. Doesn't get rattled.
When you talk to Osuna about his demeanor on the mound, he reminds you that he was pitching professionally as a 16-year-old in Mexico. He said, I was around a lot of old guys. They made me grow up quickly, including his uncle and his father. Ball on the strike. Now it's 1-2. Blue Jays trying to win the series. Looking for their 5th win against Tampa Bay, against 8 losses. Roberto Osuna strikes out the side. He gives up a leadoff double, but then battens down the hatch to preserve the shutout, the 6th shutout for the Blue Jays this season.
The Blue Jays knew that they were going to be in tough this afternoon against Chris Archer, so they needed an exceptional pitching performance, and they got it today from Marco Estrada. 8 innings, 3 hits, no runs, no walks, 5 strikeouts. They got the big hit from Bautista in the 8th inning, and they win the series against Tampa Bay.
Take 2 of 3 against the Rays. They'll have an off day tomorrow. We'll resume things on Tuesday night from Oakland. Thanks for watching. We'll see you Tuesday night. Here's Blue Jays Central. Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn.